Well, good morning, sports fans. George Stephanopoulos, the kooky geekster White House press secretary, once landed himself a job with ABC. Welcomed by his liberal homies, asks the question recently, you want a country led by one convicted of a felon? Yeah, actually, we do. It's ironic that the Democrats always get away with murder. They've killed 61 million children. None of them have been tried. None of them have gotten the death penalty. None of them have been imprisoned. Isn't that interesting? Did you ever think about that? Hunter Biden, you think anything's going to happen to him? Crack cocaine, underage teenage sex? Nope. Joe Biden is one of the biggest twats in the history of the United States. Another blonde, flaky flake fake who I believe made the comment referring to Mexicans as Taco Bell voters, and not one CNN, not one MSNBC, and not one garbage news networks that supports this trash said a word condemning that statement as racist. Don't fail to pay attention to that. Joe Biden is a woman who has no substance whatsoever to defend a geriatric like her husband, who's corrupt as hell. And we've talked about this. I've talked about this, and it all comes into play that American women have ruined themselves. Joe Biden is not a woman of substance. She's a money hungry pig. And her husband looks ridiculous. But Joe Biden has done well because of that. She doesn't care if he's corrupt. And she's seen walking in and out of the Hunter investigation, and she won't answer any questions. But I have some questions for this loser. Are there any Republican judges on that case? Are they picking only conservative Republican jurors, like they did in New York? Stephanopoulos is an idiot. He's a brainwashed, darling child of the left, just like Raggedy Ann, another worthless White House press secretary, redhead, rude, snarky, gets a job at MSNBC. Her qualifications, she's a BITCH and a liberal. That's all you need. This isn't something Pacific is making up. We've got a country full of these nasty, worthless people. They get jobs making more money than me, lying to you, misrepresenting the truth, and promoting a hypocritical, socialistic, promoting, greedy capitalist pig that doesn't model a damn thing that they're trying to place on you and me. They got guns. They don't want you to have them. They got the wealth. They don't want you to have it. They get out of their taxes. We can't. The Democrats are hypocrites. The Democrats are truly the definition of evil. 61 million babies murdered in the name of choice. And to every woman that supports choice, to every man I say, do not date them. Do not hump them. Do not give them the time of day. Treat them as they need to be treated. Murderers, tell them to their face, you're a murderer. Don't talk to me. But Americans aren't going to do that. Americans won't do that. We've talked about men being so moved by lust. Look at Susan Smith. She drowned her two children and blamed it on a black man. Black man had nothing to do with it. It was completely her fault. A childish, cruel, conscienceless woman drowned her children because she couldn't get a date with a guy who said, I don't want to date you. You got kids. So she came up with a great idea. Let's kill the kids, and then maybe I'll get a date. She is still in prison to this day with offers of people to marry her, and she's not pretty. She never really was. She was a plain Jane South Carolina woman. By the way, there's a lot of kooks in South Carolina. I live across the border on the Georgia side, and I'm here to tell you, I have a coworker whose husband runs kitchen duty at one of the prisons. And one of the prisons, Susan Smith's in, she's still writing love letters. This woman, that anybody would even consider having an interest in a woman like that, tells us how far gone people are in the United States. You got women that are rich, sitting on money, interacting through emails and internet with prisoners, wanting to marry guys convicted of murder. Women were always yelling against battered women and abuse, but women choose men that are abusive. But Better Bachelor had a program that I watched last night, and we all need to pay attention to this. Better Bachelor has an awesome shtick. He's way superior to me as far as his video quality. I respect his content. I respect his way. He was airing from what appears to be his cabin or home in Tennessee, a nice, looks like log cabin. And he said he hasn't been doing videos. He said that he's forced by what is going on to face the political situation. We've talked about women. Pacific Ocean has talked about the meltdown of Western women, and it is real. It is so real, it's not even funny. But something bigger is looming on the horizon. Have you paid attention to all these restaurants that are suffering? McDonald's, Burger King, Starbucks has taken a hit. I hope Starbucks fails and goes under. It is an institution and habitation of liberals. Talk about wasting money on something that has no nutritional value. $7 for a cup of coffee. You can buy a Keurig coffee machine with the little gourmets you put in there and you shut the thing down. And those little gourmet coffees are cheaper than Starbucks, and you can do it yourself. All Starbucks is a bunch of snobs and adult children, mostly females, and liberals. I don't support Starbucks. I never have. And I'm going to say some harsh things here. I'd like to see Joe and Joe Biden in the gutter, in the streets of LA or San Francisco. I'd like to see them have all of their money, all of their assets ripped from them, because these Democrats want to take everything that you and I work for. They want to tax us off our property. They want to seize our bank accounts. They want to get rid of Cash App and PayPal. They want to get rid of those things so they can track every dollar that flows. And why is that? Because Butthead in the office is sending your hard-earned money to Ukraine. And I'm going to say something here that is proof that Joe Biden and Democrats have their heads stuffed so far up their behinds. They're still lying to us that the Ukraine is doing incredible damage to Russia. Westerners are not paying attention that Putin won the election by a huge margin. They want him. They want him. And do you know why? Putin has more fortitude, more brains, and he's less foolish than Joe Biden. Putin has more collective smarts and wisdom than all the Democrats in Washington, D.C. combined. Let that sink in. Biden is a loser, and he is going to get us into war with Russia. He wants it. You've got a man in the White House that brags he can do more push-ups. You got a man in the White House who's a punk, runs his mouth at Trump, runs his mouth at Putin. Not one Democrat has called that crap out. They complained that Donald Trump was calling Kim Jong-un, little rocket man. Trump went to visit him. I find that interesting. The Democrats condemned and howled and squealed about that. Things were calm. Something that Democrats don't realize is "Thus saith the Lord" is going to be the epitaph on their own tombstone. That what God has prophesied is going to come to pass no matter what the Democrats think that they can do to subvert truth. Russia's going to come against Israel. It's called Gog and Magog in Ezekiel 38 and 39. That tells me that Russia is not hurting at all. And now Joe Biden has lit the match that gives Putin the right to exact retaliatory strikes or revenge on the United States, giving Ukraine weapons and telling them they can use them to go into Russia with. That is not wise. The Democrats are warmongers. They encourage, every time they get in control, riots, crime, criminal behavior. Gavin Newsom, the biggest pussy of a governor. Oh, he's dangerous, don't get me wrong. He's never ran a push mower. He's never stacked and split wood. He's never shoveled snow. This guy is a typical candy-ass politician with a gay gelled hairstyle. Ugly man. His state is falling apart in shambles. Anybody remember last summer he told people don't plug in your EV because the power grid is taxed? This is a loser who mandated, effective 2035, that he will not allow the sale of gas-powered vehicles, leaf blowers, or lawnmowers in his state. Well, it's not his state. Gavin Newsom is a dictator, right on the lines of Adolf Hitler. Gavin Newsom is a hypocrite when he goes and has his fungal dinner at $300 with no mask with medical staff. All hypocrites. And this is the same clown who busted a kayaker on the Pacific Ocean, as if the police department has reach on the Pacific Ocean waters. But under stupid leadership like Gavin Newsom, people were getting arrested. Public parks were filled with sand, playground equipment was destroyed, and skateboard parks were filled with dirt. They spent all that money just to discourage people from getting out. But Gavin Newsom gallivanted around, and his disgusting, corrupt, drunken friend, Nancy Pelosi, paid big money to make sure he got reelected while she ran around in a hair salon with no mask, and then accused the owner of being a shut-up. These people need to be arrested. Some of them need the death penalty. Some of them need a public execution. Joe Biden needs to be publicly executed by the federal government, bringing harm to Americans by bringing illegals who have no respect for us, no respect for our laws. They got over here illegally, so of course they don't respect our laws. Killed a young lady. The Democrats are silent about that. They were silent about the riots. The Democrats are liars. They're thieves, and they do not promote safety. They do not promote equity, justice, and fairness. Their definition of justice is not the same as the biblical or the dictionary definition of justice. The Democrats are the modern version of the mafia. Fauci was grilled yesterday. You think anything will happen to him? Of course not. He's a weasel. He was the overpaid, overpriced, loser doctor, and I will not recognize him as a doctor. He should be tried for the experiments he conducted on Puerto Rican and Costa Rican children, or the other, not Costa Rica, but he did experiments where kids were affected negatively by those experiments. His handling of the COVID-19 crisis was nothing short of irresponsible. And I can't go into detail on that because YouTube and Google are teamed up with the devil himself and their so-called fact checking, which has nothing to do with facts. It has to do with the liberal narrative. You either get on board or you're censored. Better Bachelor was talking about politics last night. This country is in deep trouble. Biden standing there lying to the American public saying, I improved the economy. Major restaurant chains, Panera, McDonald's is talking about pulling out of California. The Democrats don't care about the loss of people's jobs. They don't care. I don't know when people are going to realize this government, led by Democrats, does not have compassion for you. You all know what the word projection means. Democrats love to use that word. Projecting is when you're guilty of something, but you accuse everybody else of it. Calling Trump Adolf Hitler when in fact they are the SS. And some little pencil neck geek on Facebook the other day wanted to tough talk me and call me names and say, I can't believe you're comparing the cops in California to the SS. I said, you damn straight I am. They stopped a guy on a bicycle that had a GoPro cam on his helmet. Now, most of you that know me know that I'm not a fan of cyclists. They're the rudest pieces of shite on the road that don't follow any traffic laws, run red lights, stop signs, get in the way of traffic, and they scream and yell about traffic. They would have more people respect them if they were respecting cars and not doing the boneheaded stuff they do. And they should have a license plate and should be required to carry insurance like an automobile. And Democrats came up with that Go Green crap, and the Go Green people are the biggest a-holes on the planet. I drove commercial vehicles for years, and they are idiots. You come around a pass in the Colorado Rockies, and there's 3 butts wide, hogging a blind curve, and you're trying to get your RPMs up to keep your vehicle in momentum. And do you think they move over and let 3 or 4 cars behind them pass? No. Wearing their butt tight spandex wear, endorsement wear. They're some of the rudest people on the road. But a cyclist wearing a GoPro is illegal in California? Who came up with this shit? Gavin Newsom? I'm sorry, any man with a name called Gavin is a wussy. He got reelected because he's corrupt. Because most of the people living in California have their heads stuffed up their butt. They don't see the damage he's doing, and they don't care because they're sitting on piles of money. Go look at the homelessness in these cities since Gavin's been at the helm, since Democrats have been in charge. And they're handing them hypodermic needles and tents. You cannot get through to morons. The Democratic Party is a cult. They have their own news network organizations. They control the public education system. Hollywood is their best friend. Democrats will shit talk us. They'll say horrible things about us. Democrats are not examples in preserving the environment. They support corporate America, which has reduced the quality of its goods and services and charging higher amounts for it. They're friends with the big corporate social media oligarchs like Zuckerberg, Bezos, and all the other clowns on Google and YouTube. And they're clowns, reeling in the dough, living their best lives now. Did we ever hear about Lahaina? Did we ever hear about the residents that lost their homes in Hawaii? Some of them natives, like native indigenous tribes. When Zuckerberg and Oprah Winfrey owned property down there, an insurance company saying they refused to honor policies that were paid. Where's an investigation by the federal government in that crap? The Democrats want to track every dollar that you get. Why? Because Biden's taxing the hell out of everything. Look up what Joe Biden's worth. He's a dirty dog scumbag, and none of that money's legit. We know that he was connected to Hunter. The silence is deafening by the left. Joe Biden can't answer any questions hecklers were heckling her. Why are these people protected at my tax dollars? Why? Joe Biden should face the music with no Secret Service protection. Oprah Winfrey with her 8 mansions and her fat self. Obese. Ugly. I wouldn't want to see that naked, folks. This is the Democrat left. Hypocrites, liars. They're not good examples. They're greedy capitalist pigs living their best life now, and they're fucking with you. They want to take away your guns. They want to censor you on YouTube, social media, Facebook. Fact checking. They're not fact checkers. They're liberal scallywags that want to come against anybody that dares to question their moronicness. That's it. It was even shown in front of a congressional hearing that Zuckerberg had to admit, well, they're just opinions. Oh, but you call them fact checkers. So even Zuckerberg lies. And I'm going to say it again. You know there's something wrong in this country when social media can encourage pedophilia with something called Reels and nothing's being done to stop them. Rich Democrat promoting oligarchs have immunity. Hunter Biden, the son of 2 nasty, ugly, self-serving people, the Bidens, a crack man. And Biden is so arrogant. Do you notice how arrogant the Democrats are? Mocking us, laughing at us when their house is in a shambles. Nancy Pelosi's a drunk. Her husband's doing sexual tricks with some clown that supposedly broke in. What if you're wrong in what you say, Pacific? I don't think I am. Nancy Pelosi wasted no time and said it was a Trump supporter that broke in. No, it was some liberal candy ass that your husband liked. That's who. But why was the glass outside the house? See, liberals don't like it when you ask questions that have any ring of truth to them. It is not for you to question why, it's just for you to do or die. The Democrats are a branch of Hitlerian acting folks. Censoring free speech is exactly what Hitler's regime did. I've got a book on my shelf, Dietrich Bonhoeffer, a German pastor who stood up to the atrocities of Hitler and it ended up costing his life. Look at AOC yelling and screaming about Ms. Green, who made a comment about a black woman who's racist as hell elected to politics and made a comment about her fake eyelashes, which was actually the truth and funny. Black women want to walk around like they're all out on a stick, but most of them don't have real hair or real eyelashes. So, boom. I don't like arrogance in anybody. I don't like it in young women. I don't like it in Democrats. I don't like it in Gavin Newsom. These people don't suffer and they need to. They're inflicting suffering on people's bank accounts, ability to make a living. Gavin Newsom slams down a $20 an hour thing in California, which is not supportable by fast food industry. I'm not going to get into an argument about whether we should have fast food or not. Some people will only be able to make it as far as McDonald's, and better they have a job than none at all. Biden's a liar when he says his economy is doing well. It is not. Red Lobster's filing for bankruptcy. Burger King is hurting. People are staying away. They're spending less because of the massive hyperinflation brought on by the Democrats, the liberals, shutting down oil. What kind of a president would jack the price of fuel up the flagpole and stand there smiling, telling everybody to buy electric? Show me the last time Biden got on an electric Air Force One in an electric limo. Somebody needs to tell him to shut the F up. There is anger out there. The Democrats are dangerous. They can have you arrested. They can destroy you. This party needs to be dismantled. They are not good for children. They are not good for families. They are not good for God. They are not good for anything. They are a wrecking ball. Oprah Winfrey doesn't lift a finger to help anybody except black politicians that are liberal as hell. Nancy Pelosi, all these Democrats are self-serving, grandstanding liars. George Stephanopoulos is a goofball with his salt and pepper hair, asking, do we want to be led by a felon? The self-righteous smugness of the left that commits crimes and sins every day and ignores God's commands. Thou shalt not murder. And they supported murder 61 million times. Americans on the left are very stupid. They think they have Supreme Court backing and their utter infinite wisdom. They fail to realize when they cross the threshold of physical death, they're going to know instantaneously they were wrong. And a lake of fire called hell awaits them all. There's going to be no friends, no special favors, no backslapping deals. There'll be weeping and gnashing of teeth and individual torment forever for the clowns that denied God, denied justice, helped themselves to the cookie jar. The Democratic Party is of Satan. Their followers are of the devil. They're blind. They're megalomaniac, egotistical. And you can always tell when people are wrong by the level of arrogance they come back at you with. They're mocking. They're laughing. And what is Satan? A mocker. Accusing everybody but himself. The accuser of the brethren. The Democrats accuse everybody but themselves, walking like they're self-righteous. Nothing could be further from the truth. This is not just my opinion. I have suffered circumstantial depression over the last years watching what's going on. The Democrats want to destroy the Constitution. They want to destroy law and order, except for themselves. Their focus and fixation with Donald Trump is a form of projection. I don't believe Donald Trump is innocent. But I've said this before. The Democrats' handling of the Epstein case was absolutely ridiculous. The handling of the Hunter Biden thing is a joke. Mr. Fauci, a joke. Their silence during the riots, not one black liberal leader stood up. Not Miss Crockett, a black racist woman who has no place in American politics. She's a racist, ghetto, nasty woman. And AOC jumped all over Miss Green. And Miss Green, they all were immature, all three of them. when they were name calling and everything else. And AOC had the audacity. It is totally unacceptable what you said. Bitch, you said that those of us that voted for Trump, there should be a list made and we should be denied employment. That woman should have been kicked out of the house on the spot. These people don't support freedom. They claim democracy. We're not a democracy. The lie of Pelosi, the lie of the left, the lie of Biden. It's funny how Biden can't get through a speech. He looks like a fumbling, bumbling old fart. But then with clarity, he can say, it's totally inexcusable for Trump just to call the criminal justice system a scam. It's funny how bold and arrogant he is when he fights against Trump, but he can't run the country worth shit. The fact that Russia is going to come down and the hordes with her to come against Israel tells me that Israel or if Russia's not losing its power. American Democrats are dumb. They don't believe in Bible prophecy. They don't believe in any of that. Nancy Pelosi fussing that the Catholic Church wouldn't give her communion finds a church they will. Nancy Pelosi doesn't believe in the living God. There is nowhere in Scripture that supports abortion. God says there are 6 things I hate, 7 that are detestable to me. One of them is hands that shed innocent blood. Child in the womb hasn't sinned yet. There you go. And when women have been so successful to get simps and men that want to white knight them and say, oh, nobody has a right to tell a woman what to do with her body, dumbasses. But you're saying that woman has a right to tell that little child what she's going to do to its body. Hypocrisy. See, I don't get into this abortion debate. There is no debate. Abortion is murder because women are selfish. End of story. This isn't about choice. You talk about keep your laws off my body. Okay, so when a man rapes you, I don't want to hear about it. It's funny you want your cake and eat it too, women. And I do not support rape. I think rapists should be torn to pieces. I want to see the Democrats lose all of their financial holdings. I'd like to see Zuckerberg and his Asian wife and all of them in the gutter. That'd be fitting for them. People think, you're a Christian. How could you say this? Because I am a Christian. That's why I say this. They need to get meted out to them the suffering they've inflicted on people, shutting down businesses while they do whatever they want, laughing with piles of stockpile cash. Just stay home. How retarded is that? People losing their jobs, can't pay their mortgage, can't do this. Did the federal government tell the banks you can't come after people who can't pay their mortgage? Nope. They just infringed upon landlords' rights. Can't kick them out. Can't kick them out. My next door neighbors, I got along with them. They weren't paying rent for almost 2 years. But they went and bought a brand new minivan. They got kicked out. They stopped paying the rent because they could. Because the landlord couldn't kick them out. A lot of people in this area took advantage of that one. But when that grace period ended, they got booted out. But do you think that landlord could get his money back? It's amazing how the Democrats do things that cause suffering to everybody else, and they don't care. They don't care that restaurants and people went out of business. They don't care. Gavin Newsom doesn't give a shit about the suffering of others. He's a criminal. He's part of the criminal syndicate called the Democrat left. He is not a leader. He's not a leader at all. He's an operative of Hitler. He's an operative of the SS, the Gestapo, to enforce the new CLIMATE regime, as if Gavin Newsom has protected things. Look at the money the Democrats spend. Look at Oprah Winfrey. She's really preserving the environment, right? 8 mansions while people around the globe suffer in excruciating poverty. And she can't even keep her body in check. She's a pig. Michelle Obama treating herself to Martha's Vineyard, always saying that whites are privileged. I don't know one white family personally that lives in Martha's Vineyard. I'd like to know where this privilege is. In my workplace, we've had several black employees, one that should have been fired a long time ago. He's got special privilege. They were caught padding their time massively, claiming 80 hours a week, claiming huge paychecks. He and another gal, both of them birds of a feather, trash, immature, unethical, don't follow company rules. Racist black people supporting them, racist black woman that wears her divisive shirts promoting blackism. Then no supervisor saying that's not an appropriate shirt in the workplace. Let me walk in there with a shirt that says white and proud, no apologies needed, and watch what happens to me. Blacks can do that all day long. He and another woman were caught claiming 80 hours a week. Nobody gets that. Bragging about their fat paychecks, getting done with a company responsibility at, say, 4:00, but sitting on the clock till 10, riding the clock for 6 additional hours. That's called stealing. But did they get fired? They were told they couldn't have any more hours than what was granted to them, that they would not be allowed to do extra hours. Wow, we really gave them a consequence for that, didn't we? It's all around us. It boils down to the Democrat ways in the workplace. We're not going to fire blacks. We're not going to fire those that break the law. Let me do that. I'll lose my job. Let me do that, and my head will spin fast. I have something to compare this to. I think of the boss I worked for in Minnesota many years ago. If we were caught doing that, we would have been fired. There would have been no ifs, ands, or buts. The boss would have been very angry. But our nation coddles evildoers. Our public school system uses PBIS, and people defend it. PBS stands for positive bullshit, idiotic shit. It seeks to reward all the students, even if there's no reward to be deserved. Giving kids a permission slip, having bouncy tents and rap music played, and popsicles and ice cream to reward them for simply coming to school. Taxpayer money paying for that. The education system has become the biggest daycare center, which foments racism against whites, which champions Biden and the Democrat left while denigrating, dissing conservatives, Christians, white males. It's not an educational system anymore. Colleges being pushed by Barack Obama and the left They imply that if you didn't go to college, you're dumb. Now, actually, some of the smartest people in this country are the ones that didn't go to college. We're not the ones wrecking the economy. You are. The suits and ties, the college grads. How many people I know that went to college, got a degree, they can't get a job in their field, and the university charges them hundreds of thousands of dollars in tuition. I thought these were not for profit organizations. Somebody's profiting. And they staff the university with liberal atheist professors that don't believe a shred of truth, that will harass a Christian for disagreeing with evolution and give them an F. Evolution is not science, and it's not truth, and it's not factual. But again, atheists, Democrats, they're a cult. You cannot get through to them, just like you can't get through to a Mormon, you can't get through to a Jehovah's Witness. People that believe lies are the hardest people to reach. And that's on any level. I've said it about Western women. Most Western women have a gross inability of saying, I was wrong or I am sorry. They can't and they won't do it. Most American women don't have a backup gear. When I drove school bus, you saw this every day. You're halfway into a right turn. There was nobody there on that side street, and they come roaring down and block you and look at you. They couldn't just let you make the turn. They're silly little immature girls on a power trip fucking with the driver because they can. And it's worse now. They don't back up. They won't make any effort to back up. Women in America have become monsters. The Democratic Party is full of monstrous, feminist, immature, childish women. AOC, Ilhan Omar, Tlaib, Nancy Pelosi. They're middle school girls, folks. Middle school up here. That a woman can make a statement against the freedom that our Constitution stands for, impinging on people that voted for Trump because she doesn't like him. What did Trump do when he was in office to hurt this country? Nothing. The reason the Democrats are doing what they're doing, they're afraid of him. When the mafia is threatened to be exposed and seen for the evil they are, those within the organization are going to kill people to make sure they don't lose their power or get revealed. The Biden family is corrupt. We all know that. Biden is not a leader. He's a figurehead that doesn't deserve the title as president. Dumb people voted him in, and America abounds with dumb people, uneducated people. They want their EBT cards, their welfare, their free little crumbs from a giant Democrat table, while this country is being forced to hit a reef. Biden pumping billions of dollars in a war we have no business involved in. What do we have to do with Ukraine? Not a damn thing. It just goes right hand in hand with Hunter Biden's laptop and dirty Ukraine deals. That's why. Zelensky is a corrupt Ukrainian leader. And we're giving him money? When's Russia going to wake up and say, I've had it with you, US? They would have nothing to lose by sending an ICBM to Washington, D.C. I would applaud it. I hope Putin sends it when the House and Congress is full of all the corrupt politicians and takes them out. That's the only way we get this country back. If you took all the Democrats in power and they were dead, snuffed out by a missile. The tentacles of corruption in this country are thick and huge. And a lot of things I say, people say, "Oh, he calls himself a Christian." My Christianity's got nothing to do with this. I have an opinion and I have a right to that, just as Democrats with that redhead, ugly, nasty, sleazy actress that had a picture of her holding Trump's head with blood dripping from it. Oh, that was okay. That was cute and funny, wasn't it? I've gotten to the point now where I believe many Democrats should be capital punishment, allowing these illegals to come in and rape and kill people. Any president, any Democrat leader that believes in policies that harm individual Americans ought to face the death penalty. Period. End of story. Biden and the Democrats want illegals here to keep their shattered, tattered, unethical, godless party in power. And what they fail to realize is if everybody else takes over, they're going to run all of them out as well. Democrats aren't known for being smart. We see it every time they vote and open their mouth. This is not a party we can agree to disagree with. They are dangerous. They are toxic. They are an army marching against your freedom, your rights, your free speech, your gun ownership, your right to make a living. They don't want you to own a house. They're part of that group that says you will own nothing and be happy. Well, guess what? Somebody's going to own it. Zuckerberg, Bezos, Oprah, Pelosi. These people are tyrants. They're self serving, self seeking tyrants. Oprah Winfrey was an arrogant, nasty woman to several Southern women that stood up and said, Christ is the only way. Those women were speaking the truth. Oprah Winfrey is a nasty, venomous woman. She does not believe in the deity and the claims of Jesus Christ. She believes that all religions will get there. Oprah Winfrey doesn't model Christianity. She models a self serving, selfish woman who's got her lifeboat ready for her. 8 mansions, a billionaire, and she wants to talk about white privilege. Let's talk about privilege. A woman who ran a talk show going wah, 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 made billions of dollars. She's not an expert in a damn thing. Proving that American women are vain, housewives whose husbands made good money, and they're sitting around listening to Oprah's tripe all day. Funded her. White women. The black community didn't make her rich. There weren't enough of them to do so. Out of the 43 million black Americans, most of them are not millionaires or billionaires. I have no patience. I have no tolerance for these hypocrites. They vote in a party that's going to save the environment. You justify owning 8 mansions, one of them worth $90 million, but you don't support the rest of us having access to that. You're called a hypocrite. The Democrats don't believe in the American dream for anybody but themselves. They're no different than Hitler. They're no different than Lenin and Mussolini and all these clowns, Kim Jong Un and Xi Jinping, their mansions, their big pots of money, promoting socialism and communism and tyranny. It's an Amway scheme, folks. One pinhead at the top of the pile of wealth, and the rest of us modern day slaves to their sick, twisted agenda while they tax us to fund their licentious behavior. The Democratic Party is from the pit of Satan today. I see a bad moon arising. I see big trouble up ahead. If we don't get Biden and the clowns out, this country is done completely. But keep fucking with Putin, Biden. Keep doing it. That man has the capability of destroying you. I'm so sick of people bragging about our military. You better stop bragging about it. Just like the unsinkable Titanic, we got evidence in the bottom of the ocean that wasn't true. Our military is too busy looking into their pants, trying to determine what sex they are. They're not trained like Russia and China. They don't have sexual sensitivity training in the militaries in these other countries. They're sovereign nations and they don't care what NATO or the UN thinks. And America should have been the same way. We got a base here in town, and there's more drug activity and crazy behavior on that base than out in civilian life. Yeah, our military is not the most powerful. We're weak. We're led by weak leadership. And what America doesn't realize is it would cost nothing for Putin to send an ICBM and send a message to us. Because if we shoot back, that fallout can hit Asia and Europe, and that's not going to do us well. He shoots it over here. He care less about Canada and Mexico. See, everybody can talk about hardware, but you can't keep shooting nuclear missiles back and forth without it affecting everybody else. And Putin knows this. And for Biden to not put troops on the ground or, be decisive, but do little sneaky, stupid stuff like sending the Ukraine weapons and saying, go ahead, shoot them into Russia. You think Putin's a dummy? That's an act of aggression that now puts the U.S. in an aggressive position against Russia. Biden is a fool. And I would support Putin taking a missile and knocking out the Democrat left. They are a cancer in the entire globe. They have damaged the reputation of the U.S. They have brought insecurity to the U.S. They brought it right on our shores. You cannot reason with a Democrat. They're brainwashed. I marvel at media, dumb women with their prescriptive, they're all copycats. That's right. There was a terrible fire today, Marty. Oh, you really care about that. That fake, contrived care. The news media is a joke. They don't have any heart. Watch a dog get killed. Now they're going to get all passionate about it. America's awaiting judgment. Why it hasn't happened yet, I don't know. I think it's because the church is here, because Christians are here. But we're standing on thin ice. We're living on borrowed time. America's corrupt as hell. Corrupt as Satan. And we've got leadership in this country that is endangering us daily. The Bidens should face capital punishment for allowing illegals to kill a young woman and bring danger to us. Every Democrat should be put in prison for allowing people to break the law, enter the country illegally, not Filipinos, not hardworking Asians, but we're going to allow Mexicans to come over here, steal our work, steal our business, make money with no taxation, just so these lousy, sicko, hypocritical Democrats can keep getting voted in. They're corrupt. They're evil. Anybody that supports people coming in illegally should not be in office on any level. Any country that elects an Ilhan Omar, which is a terror-supporting Muslim fanatic who can't even keep her marriage straightened out and all the crap that's going on in her personal life, and you got a bartender with big boobs, she has more density in her tits than she does in her head, saying dumb things. And Tlaib, a Palestinian terrorist supporter This is the kind of shit we elect in this country. Shit. I don't care if they're offended. I already know what Western and non-Western crazed women think of me. I'm no danger to anybody. They're the danger. We live in a jacked up country today. Thanks for listening. Fasten your seatbelts.